Hello, this is Chrissy with Pongo's Learning Lab, and in this quick tutorial, we're going to take a look at how to install Roblox Studio and use it to add some very simple objects and some really simple code. And this is primarily a tutorial to walk some of our younger students through the setup to make sure that they're able to do everything that's needed for some of our classes and camps. So the first thing you need to do is go to roblox.com/create in any web browser. And when you click on Start Creating on that page, you're going to be prompted to download Roblox Studio. So if I click on Start Creating, it's going to check for Roblox Studio. If I already have it installed, I can just click on Open. If I don't have it installed, I would click on Download Studio. That's going to download the program, and then you can install it on your computer. So if you haven't already installed it, go ahead and click pause on this video and then come back after you have installed it. So since I already have Roblox Studio installed, I'm going to go into it and it's going to look like this. So you can see I'm in this new tab over here on the left side of the screen and I'm looking at all templates. And you can see that there's a bunch of different templates in here. For this particular tutorial, we're going to use Baseplate. So just click on Baseplate and that's going to open up the Baseplate template in Roblox Studio. Now I'm looking at the View tab. You can see that there's several tabs at the top of the screen. There's Home, Model, Test, View, and Plugins. And I had the View tab open. If you don't already have the View tab open, click on it to select it. And then I want you to close all of the windows except for Explorer and Properties. You can see there's a bunch of windows that are open here, and you really don't need most of them most of the time, except for the Explorer, which is over here on the right side, and Properties, which is also on the right side. So to close the windows, you would just deselect them. So for example, I'll deselect Asset Manager, Toolbox, and Terrain Editor. You might have other windows open. If you do have those open, close them, again, except for the Explorer and the Properties. Now, once you've got that done, I want you to click on the Home tab. So click on Home, and you can see that you've got a lot of options here. Excuse me. So under these options, you can add parts. So if I click on Part, that's going to add a block. The first instinct is to drag the block around, and you can do that sometimes, but you do have to be careful. So instead of doing that, I would recommend you go to the Model tab. And you can see you've got a lot of the same menu items there in the Model tab. And let me delete this part real quick. And then go ahead and click on Part. And that's going to add that part again. It's the same button that we saw on the other screen. And then I want you to deselect Collisions, Constraints, and Join Surfaces. Mine are already deselected. That's just the way I work. So I'm going to deselect those. And then if Rotate and Move are checked, you're going to uncheck those. Just makes it easier to move things around. Now, I don't want you to just drag that part around. What I'd rather you do is choose the Move tool over here in the left corner. Again, we're in the Model tab. And then you're going to use these arrows to move that object around. So you're going to just use those arrows and move it around a little bit. So just try moving it around. All right. Now, after you've done that, I want you to go to Scale, click on Scale, and then you're going to get little circles around the object, and you can use those to change the size of your object. So go ahead and try that out. You might need to pause and come back. All right, so we've dragged that around. And then the last tool that we've got here that we're going to use is Rotate. So if you click on Rotate, you can then get these circles and you can rotate your object. You can rotate that part around. So try doing that. If you need to, you can pause and come back. All right. So now after you've tried all those tools, I want you to try adding another part and then pause the video and try moving, scaling, and rotating that part. All right, so after you've done the moving, rotating, and scaling, the next thing we're going to do is add some code to this part. Now we've got some other tutorials that you can watch to do some more advanced games. This is just a tutorial to try things out, to make sure that you're able to move objects, use Roblox Studio, and then add a little bit of code. So I want you to select this part, and I'm going to use the Select tool to do this so it doesn't have all those circles around it, and just select that part. Now if you look over in the Explorer, you'll see that the word Part is highlighted. That's because I've got that part selected. If I added another part, which I don't want you to do, I just want you to watch this part. you can see that now I've got a second part. So whichever one I select, that's the one that's going to be highlighted in that Explorer. So you can see I've selected this one, the big one, and that one selected. I select this other one and that one selected. I'm going to delete this second one, the smaller one, by just selecting it and then pressing the delete key on my keyboard. Now again, I'm going to select this part, and then in the Explorer, if you move your mouse over the part, you'll see a plus sign comes up. I want you to click on that plus sign and choose script. So now a script is going to open. This is a Lua script. Let me zoom in so you can actually see it a little bit better. And it's going to have some code in there already. It's going to say print hello world. We can leave that code there, and I'll show you what that does in just a minute. But for right now, what I'd like you to do is add this code. You're going to type in local, which is the keyword that we use to create a variable. And then we're going to call it part equals script.parent with a capital P. That capital P is very important. Make sure that you're typing this in exactly as it's written on my screen. If you need to, you can pause the video, type it in, and then come back and watch the rest. So what this line of code does is it creates a variable called part, and it's going to be the script.parent. Script.parent means the script that we're in. It's going to be the parent of the script, so that's going to be the part. Okay? Now the next thing we're going to do, we are going to set the block color for the part, or the brick color for the part, to a random brick color. So we're going to type part dot, if you type the capital B and then R, you're going to see a menu comes up that says brick color. So you can press tab on your keyboard to fill the rest of it in. If you want to, you can just type the whole thing out, but this helps to make it a little bit faster, and make sure that you spell everything correctly and use the correct case. By case, I mean uppercase and lowercase. It's important when you type out brick color that the B and the C in color are capitalized. So then I'm going to say part.brickcolor equals brick color. Again, I'm just typing in BR and then pressing tab, dot, and you see I get a list that comes up. So I'm going to type the letter R, and I want to find the word random. So once I find the word random, I'm going to press tab on my keyboard, and that's going to set the brick color.random. And this is going to give me a random brick color every time I play the game. Now I'm going to click play. You can see I'm in the script menu. If you're on script or home, you should see a play button there. So either one will work. So I'm going to click on play, and that takes me into play mode for my game. And now once the game loads, I should see instead of that gray, my brick is a random color. Now, if I click on the stop button, which again is in the, well, I can click on the stop button right here. There's a little red button right there, or I can go to home and I can click on stop there. So I'm going to click on stop, and you can see that it's still gray. Now, if I click on play again, you'll see when I click on play, when I look at that brick color again, every time the game loads, it's going to be a different color. So now it's purple. If I click on stop, it's going to keep doing that. Now I want to have it happen automatically. And you're thinking, well, where did my script go? I added all that code and I don't know where it went. It's right here. You can see there's a tab labeled script. If you can't find it, so for example, you accidentally closed it, it's not lost. You can go over to the Explorer and double click on script right there. You just double click on it. Now I want this line of code to happen over and over and over again. So I'm going to add a new line of code, and I'm going to add something called a loop. And a loop is a bit of code that makes the stuff inside of it happen over and over again. So I'm going to say while true do, and then press enter. And then I need to take this bit of code right here. I'm going to select it. So I'm just going to drag my mouse over to select it. I'm going to cut it, which you can do by if you're on a Windows computer, you can press Control X. If you're on a Mac, you can press Command X on the keyboard. And then I'm going to paste it into that loop. Now, don't run your game just yet. Don't click play just yet. I want you to add a new line and then type wait. And then in parentheses, you're going to type the number 2. And that's going to have it wait 2 seconds. So when I click on play, you can see now, when I run this code, it's going to be a random color when it first loads. So let's give it a second to load. And then after 2 seconds, it's going to change to a different color. And it's going to just keep doing that forever. So that's all you have to do. When you're done with your work, you can just click on stop and then choose file. And then you can save your file to your computer or you can save it to Roblox. So either one of those is fine. I hope you found this useful and keep watching and let us know if you did this tutorial. Thanks everybody. Bye.